He stood there, surveying the tall, wide columns of mottled green and black marble trimmed with gold that reached up to the high, decorated, vaulted ceiling. Opulence, money, prestige, grandeur. But it still needed the little people, the cleaners and the attendants, to keep it going. The cleaner reappeared, accompanied by a stern-looking woman, also wearing an apron and a headscarf. "Mr. Wilson?" she demanded brusquely. "Indeed, ma'am." Daniel nodded, and again he held out the envelope with a telegram at his card. This time they were taken. The woman took out the telegram and read it, then studied the card before returning both to Daniel. "Very well," she said. Turning to the cleaner, she ordered, "Take Mr. Wilson to the Egyptian room, Mavis." Mavis shook her head. "I ain't going in there," she said. "Not after what happened. Anyway, police said no one was to go in there." "Don't be ridiculous," rebuked Alice. "The police have finished their examination." "Yes, but he may still be there," said the woman with a shudder. "His ghost." "There are no such things as ghosts, Mavis," snapped Alice. "I ain't going in there," said Mavis doggedly. "My bill says I shouldn't have to. It's not right." "If you just take me to the entrance to the Egyptian room, I'm sure I can find my way around," offered Daniel, keen to make peace between the two women. But Mavis shook her head again firmly. "I can't stay here after what happened," she said. "That's what my bill says, and he's right. I'll finish here today, Alice, but that's it." Alice stood looking at Mavis, a grim expression on her face. "Very well," she said, "but I'm very disappointed." She turned to Daniel and gestured. "If you'll follow me, Mr. Wilson." As Daniel followed Alice down the marble stairs, he said apologetically, "I'm sorry if my arrival has caused this upheaval." Alice shook her head dismissively. "Mavis is a half-wit. She's always finding things that seem to prevent her doing her work properly. And now this talk about ghosts. It's just brought things to a head that have been simmering for a while." They arrived at the bottom of the stairs, where a pair of massive stone lions, or some creatures partly resembling lions, flanked a wide entrance. "This is where he was found," said Alice. Daniel followed her into the room, past rows of artefacts, stacked, possibly awaiting display, to a large heavy grey stone box, a sarcophagus. The lid had been removed and was now leaning against it. "He was inside here," said Alice. "I see," said Daniel. "And who exactly discovered the body?" "I'll let Sir William answer your questions, if you don't mind," said Alice primly. "I've got to get my work done." "Fine," Daniel nodded. "Perhaps you'll be good enough to leave a message with Sir William's secretary to let him know that I'm here. And also, I'd appreciate it if you could advise everyone that my orders are for no one to come in here till I've finished." She hesitated as if about to argue with him, then nodded and left, heading out of the room and back up the stairs. Alone, Daniel Wilson took the time to take in the vast array of Egyptian artifacts that filled this room, and the next, because Daniel could see that the Egyptian room went on from this room into another, and from there into yet another. The items in this room were a veritable treasure trove. Some attempt had been made to bring order to the assembly. Ornamental statues had been lined up along one wall, and an unusual group at that, all life-sized with humanized bodies, but some with heads of falcons, some with those of cats, others with wings on their backs, all carved in stone, with the faded colours of their original paint still adhering to some of them. Mostly his eye kept being drawn back to the mummified bodies, the cloths that covered them yellowed and worn. Some of the mummies were very small, infants, their tiny cloth-wrapped bodies in crumbling wicker baskets. Others were larger, adults, their bodies laid in wicker or stone coffins. Daniel noticed that the cloth covering on one of these larger mummies had eroded to the extent that a bony foot poked through. How old, he wondered. 3,000 years old? 4, 5. More? His reverie was interrupted by a woman's voice snapping angrily at him.